Hello again, you're watching Everard Junction, and today is part 2 of the canal scene. We're progressing our way to getting some water going on in here. I'll be putting the water in this episode. I've ordered it, it's on its way, and with any luck it will arrive tomorrow. So I promise on this episode the water will go in. Since you last saw it, I have done some more painting. And I've painted this piece I put in black to tidy things up, just makes it look a bit better. Painted the riverbed some more, painted the polyfiller, given this another coat of brown, and I've also given the deck here another coat of grey. There'll be another finish on top of there, but I'm just getting the basics in at the moment. You'll also notice that I've built up the scenery at the back here along this edge. It runs all the way up into the corner. Really pleased with it. I think it looks really good. I've stopped by that tree, and I will be continuing the same thing, albeit in a slightly less dense format all the way to the tunnel. I'll be doing a how-to video on that on this section here, so look out for that in the coming weeks. Not sure when I'm actually going to get around to doing that, but no doubt it'll be in between or after me finishing this canal scene off. Tonight I'm going to be adding some reeds or some like long grass along this edge where the polyfiller is. I think that'll look quite good when the water's in there. You have the reeds and the grass growing out of the water at the riverbank. So I'm going to put some of that in, and then I'll work on a couple more bits and pieces that I need to do before the water goes in. I still need to put a temporary piece in here. I did briefly entertain perhaps putting something permanent at this end, either a piece of wood or perhaps a piece of clear plastic or something, but what would be noticeable is you would have the edge, and then there'd be another distinctive line between the piece of material and the realistic water. I'd rather the realistic water was continuous and went all the way up to the edge and was nice and flat. So I think I'm going to bolt a temporary piece on the outside that will seal everything, and then when the realistic water's dried I can peel it off, or unscrew it and peel it off, and then I'll have a continuous piece of realistic water. I'll actually be able to get down here and look through it, which I think will be quite cool. So that's the plan anyway. We'll see if it works out. I'm going to use rocket card glue to glue the grasses along the edge here by the riverbank. I'm using rocket card glue because it dries very quickly, so I'll be able to build the area up relatively fast, and it's not PVA, it's a different type of adhesive, and hopefully it won't react with the realistic water. I'm very paranoid about getting any PVA anywhere near this area and before I put the realistic water in, because I don't want any nastiness to occur. You can imagine how annoying it would be if I put the realistic water in and once it had dried it looked great, except on this side it was all cloudy because it had touched the PVA where the grass is. I have to put the grass in before I put the realistic water in because they're reeds and they'll be growing up through the water from the riverbank. It won't look the same if I just put them on the top. Okay, I've trimmed the grass down here and vacuumed off any excess, and the realistic water has now arrived, so I can get started on that. But while I've been away, there's been a bit of vandalism, and quite a few items have been thrown into the canal, but actually it looks quite good, so we'll take a look at some of those. Some bloke's thrown his bike in from up at the allotments. Guessing he nicked it, or something went wrong with it, or he just fancied a laugh. He's chucked it down there. It's fallen between the reeds. Someone's thrown a pallet in. Someone's thrown a perfectly good wheelbarrow in, and another pallet. But I think best of all is that someone's chucked a shopping trolley in there as well. Here's a better look at the shopping trolley. It's just made from little pieces of wire that I've soldered together. It was very fiddly, intricate work, but I'm quite happy with it. It's a little rough around the edges, but I think, to be honest, its beaten up appearance actually makes it look more appropriate for this scene. It looks like it's been stuck in this canal for months or years. I'm still working on the best way to put it. Doesn't really matter, to be honest. I had a look at a couple of pictures. They tend to be all over the place, but it would have been sort of pushed off the edge perhaps like that, or maybe it fell on its side, or I've seen a picture where there's one sticking up like that, which I quite like the idea of. So I'll play around with some positions, and when I'm happy you can go for the realistic water. Okay, I've put a piece of MDF in, just a thin piece wrapped in tin foil, to seal off the end, the idea being that the tin foil will not stick to the realistic water. So I'll be able to remove that piece. It's all sealed underneath this edge, so it shouldn't puke out. Fingers crossed anyway. All the way along this side where the two pieces go is all sealed. It's sealed at the back. Pretty sure it's quite well sealed on that side. And this is all filler that goes down onto the bed itself. So I think it's about as well sealed as it's going to get. I've got some gaffer tape with me in case things go wrong, and also I have evacuated the entire fiddle yard as a precaution. Don't really want realistic water dripping onto any locomotives or rolling stock. All the junk is in the river. I'm happy with this level of junk. I may add a couple of bits floating on the surface, but I don't want to overdo it. It is important that you have stuff like this, but I think, like with everything, it can be overdone. So I've just got a few odds and ends in there. I've got a bike, a trolley and a wheelbarrow. I'm happy with those. I might move the trolley, but overall I'm happy with it. The grass is looking good. Anything higher up the riverbank I can do after the water has dried, because it's not going to be that deep. So yeah, I think we're imminent for pouring the water in. Okay, I've given it just another very quick lick of watered down paint. This is just a slightly blacker colour. I just wanted to create the illusion of a little bit more depth and get some variation in colour in there, and it looks pretty good now. Okay, got the realistic water ready. There's no turning back now. I'm happy with everything. So here we go. Never used this stuff before, and to be honest, I'm a little bit nervous, but we'll just have to see how things go. I'm going to do a thin layer to start with. Okay, I'm just going to stop there briefly, just see where it goes and check for any leaks. Okay, it's not leaking, so I'm going to keep going. Okay, I'm going to have to leave that for 24 hours and let it completely dry. As it dries, it should go completely clear. At the moment it's got a cloudy blue look to it, but it should go clear, and then I will add more realistic water over the top of it. I'm probably going to end up doing 3 layers to get the height and depth I want. Obviously at the moment things are looking very shallow, but I have to say already that shopping trolley is looking fantastic already. It was worthwhile making that. Okay, the realistic water is still drying. I thought it would probably take quite a while for it to dry, since I'm using large quantities. When you saw me pour it in, that was Friday night. It's now Sunday afternoon, and we're still pretty much the same place we were on Friday night. I'm hoping over the next 48 to 72 hours that this finally goes off and dries. Once it has done so, I can come back and apply a second coat. I'm probably going to end up doing 3 layers of realistic water to get the depth that I want. But so far it's looking good, and my shopping trolley is also still looking excellent. So I will come back in another day or two and check on the progress of this realistic water.